Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and I'm in a new kitchen. I am in a new kitchen. What do you think? It's kind of like a little old-fashioned-y, but it's also kind of spacious and nice, and I'm kind of digging it for now. And more on this kitchen a little bit later. But today, I wanted to share with you a recipe of mine that is so incredibly delicious. But not only is it that, it's easy to make, and let's up the ante even more. It's good for you. It's a lighter recipe, and it's going to be featured in my new cookbook, the Lighter Step-by-Step Instant Pot Cookbook. I'm teasing some recipes out just so you guys can see for yourselves that you're going to want to get this book, because you can eat deliciously and lighter at the same time. Guys, if you love avocado, and if you love guacamole, and if you love chicken, this is going to be the dish for you. Creamy avocado chicken. I'm just going to let the dish talk for itself. Well, it's not going to talk. That would be pretty disturbing, but you'll see what I mean. Let's just get going right now and make some of the most amazing, light, delicious food in your Instant Pot. Creamy avocado chicken. Let's go. Alright, so we're going to begin with a red onion and dice it up. Now we're going to take 2.5 to 3 pounds of chicken breast and dice it up into bite-sized pieces. And that concludes the prep for our chicken portion. Alright, so the first thing I want to add to my pot are 2 tablespoons of either extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Both good oils for you and rich in the right kinds of fats. I also want to add in 2 tablespoons of ghee, which is clarified butter, and it's also unsalted, and all the milk solids are boiled out. Add that in there. Alright, now I'm using my Instant Pot Max for this, guys, and I don't usually use the Instant Pot Max, but I'm going to today. Why not, right? I'm going to hit the saute button here, and this one's really fancy. It's all touchscreen no matter where you look at it, so if I wanted to change the temperature, I'm going to keep it at high. I would just tap that. I can go to custom, or I can choose my own temperature, low or high. I'm going to leave it on high. If you have any other model, just hit the saute button or the adjust button until it's on the high setting. And then I'm going to hit the start button. If you don't have a start button on your Instant Pot model, it's going to start on its own after about 5 seconds of hitting the last setting. And once our butter's melted and sizzling, I'm going to take my red onion and I'm going to add it to the pot. I'm going to saute my onion in the pot for about 3 minutes. Okay, so after about 3 minutes of our onion sauteing, you'll see the red becomes to dull a little bit. I'm going to add in 3 cloves or 1 tablespoon of crushed or minced garlic and saute for another minute. Alright, now I want to add in my chicken. Just put it into the pot. And we're going to want to saute that in the pot for about another 3 minutes. Now, we don't want our chicken to be fully cooked right now. That's what the pressure cooking is for. We just want it to be seared a bit, and so it's like a pinkish white color. Alright, now once we have that pinkish white color going on, I want to add in 1 cup of low sodium chicken broth. Okay, and I'm just going to give everything a little bit of a stir in here. Let's get anything that's on the sides of the pot into the pot itself. I'm going to secure my lid. And now I'm using the Instant Pot Max here, which I honestly don't use all that often, but it's a really, really cool Instant Pot. And I kind of like this one. It's kind of fun, mostly because it has a totally different design from the rest. It's very sleek. And I'll show you in a second. Now I'm going to come back to my control panel and I'm going to hit the cancel or the keep warm cancel button depending on your model, and hit the pressure cook or manual button depending on your model. And I want to go, guys, for 4 minutes. See that I could change the time here with the little knob, just like on the Duo Evo Plus and the Ultra. And I'm going to go for 4 minutes at high pressure. Now, what's really interesting about this pot is I can choose at the end it'll automatically quick release on its own. Do you see that? So if it's like this, it won't do it unless I choose to do it. If I do it like this, it'll be a controlled release where it just spurts every so often. And like this, it means as soon as it's done pressure cooking, it's in a quick release all on its own. But if I go like this and leave it like that, I still have to touch the screen when it's time to release. But you never actually physically touch the lid. It's really interesting. Okay, back to I'm going to do it so it automatically does release. 4 minutes, high pressure, hit start. If you don't have the Instant Pot Max, you won't have this option, and that's fine. You don't need to have that option. It is nice to see also what the temperature's getting up to when it's in there. That's kind of cool. Usually about, I find around, once it passes the 200-degree mark, it's starting to get really close to pressure. You also have this little gauge at the top here telling you what to do. Again, this is like an older model at this point. It's a few years old, and I'm just really starting to play with it now, and I kind of like it. Check on it when it's done. Okay, so while the chicken's pressure cooking, let's focus on making that amazing creamy avocado sauce. I want to take 2 ripe avocados. Make sure they're a bit squishy to the touch. These look really dark because they're pretty ripe, all right? And you see that? I've sliced them right in half. I want to take 3 of my avocado halves, I'm going to save the fourth one for garnish later. I'm going to cut some slivers. But I basically just want to take all of my pits here out. Avocado pits, by the way, they feel like wooden balls almost. Actually, a secret to this is if you're making guacamole or something, stick this in the middle of the guacamole when it's done, and apparently it's like keeps everything fresh from oxidizing. It helps it in some way. It might just be some sort of old wives or old husband's tale, but it has worked for me. So I'm just saying, in the future, if you're making guac, and I have a great recipe for that. Alright, so I've removed my pit, and I'm just going to take a spoon and literally just spoon out the avocado, and it should come out perfectly. You see that? That's exactly what I want to focus on. And I want to take a food processor bowl and then just add my avocado to that. Alright, just repeat that. Right, and get all that avocado out of there. Waste not, want not. Don't worry if some of the edges of the avocado, when you scoop it out, look a little brown. It means it's going to taste great. Alright, I have a few more things I'm going to add to this little food processor bowl. Alright, and there's that lone avocado, and I'm just going to scoop the pit out. And now I'm just going to slice it into some slivers here. It's okay if the skin's still on it. That's fine. You could either leave it for garnish, or we can just, remove it at the end. That's totally up to you. And there we have it. Some lovely avocado, freshly sliced, to put on top of your final chicken for some garnish. Alright, now let's move on. And that's going to be a large shallot, which I've just roughly diced up. And I'm going to add that to my little food processor bowl, along with my avocado. An optional jalapeno pepper for some spice, which I'm going to take out the rib and the seeds, or de-seed. The rib and the seeds are where the spice really come from, but if you don't want it to be very spicy at all, just remove them, or you can leave out the jalapeno completely. It's up to you. It's very mild without the seeds and the ribs, though, I'll tell you that. If you keep the seeds and the rib, it'll just be a little bit more of a kick. Now that I touch this with my hands, don't rub them in your eyes directly, or you might be in for a little bit of a rude awakening. Alright, now from here, I'm going to roughly chop that up, and also add it to my bowl with my shallot and my avocado. If cilantro is your thing, feel free to add in about 2 tablespoons worth of the fresh stuff. Alright, and you can obviously take the stems off, or you can leave them in. They're all going to be blended up anyway. It doesn't really make much difference. I also want to add in a half a cup of Greek yogurt, and I'm using 2%, but you can use 0%, you can use 5%, you can use full fat if you want. I'm using 2%. I'm just going to put this in there. As well as 2 tablespoons of either extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Why not? Avocado oil is also healthy, just like extra virgin olive oil is. And the juice of 1 lime. Alright, add that in there. Now, if you want a little spice in there, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of hot sauce. You can use any kind you like. You could add more if you want, or you can just omit it completely. As well as a teaspoon each of seasoned salt, garlic powder, and oregano. Let's put that in there. Alright, and there we have it, our fantastic ingredients to make that amazing creamy avocado sauce. Now I'm going to place my little bowl here inside of my food processor. My food processor has a mini bowl that it came with as well, but you can also just put it in the big bowl, it's no problem. Put the lid on top, and now I'm just going to blend this all up in there. Alright, we're basically just going to blend it and pulse it until it is a nice, fantastic, smooth, creamy avocado sauce. Alright, now we'll just take this out and let this rest for a few moments before we add it to our chicken when that's all done, which, by the way, should be any second now. Oh, look at that. And the Instant Pot Max automatically releases on its own, which is kind of cool. And the pin just dropped, so I'm going to take the lid off. And there's my chicken. Now, I know, it might not look so beautiful right now. In fact, most things that you pressure cook don't look super gorgeous right when we take the lid off. It's the very final moments, which is going to be right now, where it all comes together. Now let's talk about the sauce. We're about to add our creamy avocado sauce, but before we do, what's going to determine how thick your sauce is how much broth you leave in the pot. I suggest, if you want it to be thicker, to remove about half to about 3/4 worth of the broth. You can save this for chicken broth for the future, whatever you want to do, but the more broth you leave in, the thinner the sauce will be. I would suggest removing more broth than you think you might, and then just reserve it, and then you can always stir more in to thin the sauce out if it's a little bit too thick for you. Alright, we're looking good, and now I'm going to take my amazing avocado sauce here, and then just simply add it to the pot. And if you want some tomatoes in there, of course, you could add that too. But I like to have a dominant green color for the sauce. Now we're going to stir everything together in the pot so the avocado melds into the liquid, and we're going to have the most amazing creamy chicken avocado. Look at that. I told you that's when it all comes together, is when you do the final touches. And you see, guys, I've removed at least half of my broth, and you see how my sauce is already like that. It's a perfect consistency. It's not too runny, but it's not too thick. It's just right, I think. So I would suggest removing half the broth. The reason why we put a whole cup of broth in the first place is so A, it comes to pressure, because we need enough liquid in there, and B, so it creates extra flavor as the chicken cooks. And don't forget, the chicken also releases its own juices as it cooks. But guys, this is looking perfect. And there we have it, guys. Creamy avocado chicken. Absolutely divine. It's gonna go really great over some rice too. So, let's serve it up. Alright, if you want to serve this over some rice, by all means, feel free to do so. And feel free to create like a nice ring of rice, and we'll put our amazing, delicious, creamy avocado chicken in the middle. You know, for a little presentation or something like that. Right, now I'm gonna add my chicken and the sauce. And there we go, the perfect amount. I'm gonna drape some extra sauce over my chicken. And now we can top it off with some extra jalapeno if you'd like. It's totally up to you. Maybe some extra cilantro in there. And of course, a lovely avocado end. Right, maybe you even want two for some good measure. All right, let's try it out. All right, guys, and here it is, my chicken with the rice. And by the way, you can absolutely use brown rice, you can use cauliflower rice, you can use quinoa, whatever you want. You could use nothing, you could just have the chicken on its own. Let's try it out. Okay, it's almost hard to believe that this is a lighter dish. I mean, instead of having cream in there, heavy cream, we have 2% Greek yogurt. Instead of using traditional butter, I'm using ghee, but you can use regular butter if you prefer. Ghee, however, is paleo compliant because it doesn't have any milk fats in there, or milk solids, I should say. Let's try this. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at how this sauce is a perfect consistency. Like I said, you can make the sauce as thin or as thick as you want, depending on how much broth you remove at the very end. But this, to me, is perfect. We just got some spice. I just got one of the jalapeno garnishes I put on there. And here's some of the fresh avocado and some cilantro. This dish is divine, absolutely spectacular. Try it. Let me know what you think. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, and if you like step-by-step instructions, have I got the book for you. Not only is it going to be in the next cookbook, this one, the lighter step-by-step cookbook, but I have my very first cookbook, which is an international bestseller. I'm still overwhelmed by the success in the book and how many people have purchased it, so I thank you so much. You're going to want to check that out. It's 100 recipes with beautiful color step-by-step photos for every recipe, as well as a final shot, no guessing, timing bar showing you exactly how long it's going to take from the time that you start preparing it to the time it's on the table. I leave no questions unturned, or I mean unanswered. Facebook.com/PressureLockCooking, and like that page for any time a new recipe comes out, deals, tips on items, things like that. And of course, YouTube is at PressureLockCooking. So is my Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram handles. Guys, thank you so much. And just remember, just because you're eating light doesn't mean the food isn't going to be a delight. Enjoy. Tender.